Good morning, Internet. Today I'm going to do a short video on a alcohol stove spirit burner, the Trangia Spirit Burner stove that I purchased. In one of my previous videos, or maybe a couple of them, I referenced a couple alcohol stoves that I had made myself out of soda pop cans. I think I made a large one and a small one. The large one was made out of a Guinness beer can, and the smaller one was made out of a small V8 tomato juice can. And they've worked fine for me over the years. I don't know if I can still find a video of how they were assembled, but both of those were assembled by inserting some fiberglass insulation encased in the walls of the stoves before you assemble them, and they work really well. They come to a full bloom and burn really efficiently. Now I've since purchased this Trangia Spirit Burner just kind of out of curiosity, trying to see if I like it. A couple of the features that I like about this one as opposed to the ones I made is this stove comes with a screw-on lid and a snuffer cap that you can snuff it out. So basically you can fill this thing up with fuel of your choice and use it. When it cools off, you can snuff it, and when it cools off, and you can screw on the lid. It has a rubber seal in it, so you're able to retain the fuel that you have in the stove, which is kind of nice. One of the drawbacks that I've seen from these stoves, and I will try to I'll try to show you how they operate as they come out of the box, or I might try to find, so I might just go ahead and do the modifications to this one that I'm considering doing, and pull up a couple videos of some of them that I've seen burning on other people's demonstrations. And the problem with them is that it burns the fuel right out of the center of the stove, and even when it comes to a full bloom, it's still got a pretty good sized flame that comes from the center of the stove, yellow flame, which creates a lot of soot on the bottoms of your cookware. I don't have that problem with the little ones that I made myself. Like I said, they come to a full bloom, and the little blue flames come right out of the tips of the walls of the stove where the holes are drilled instead of out of the center of it. And I think the fiberglass insulation that was used in that helps wick the fumes up through the side and creates a beautiful bloom that's blue flame, and it does not coat any of your cookware with soot. So part of the modifications that I want to do to this stove, I may try to fire it up just the way it is and see if they have the problem, or that I have the problem that I've seen other people have with them. Kind of like to do that before I do the modifications, just to make sure I'm not doing them for no reason at all. But the modification I'm going to do is to use carbon felt to install in the stove at the bottom of the center burner area. And so this is what the carbon felt looks like here. Let me put this stuff away here so I can use both hands. get the box out of there. And this is the carbon felt that I ordered off Amazon. Appears to be about a quarter of an inch thick. I think they say it's like six millimeters thick, but what the heck's a millimeter anyway? Anyway, pretty good sized sheet of that stuff, and you can use this for welding, soldering. It does not burn, and you can lay it down to keep from burning things that you don't want to burn when you're welding or soldering. So I got a sheet of this, and what I'll do is I'll trim off a strip off the end of this and coil it up and put it in the center burner area of this Trangia stove. Then on top of that, I purchased some of this stainless steel mesh. I got way more than I need, but here's this stainless mesh that I will cut into a round shape and install this over the carbon felt that's inside the stove. And I hope to get more of a bloom out of the holes in the sides of the stove, and more of a blue lower key flame, and less soot on any of my cookware. I don't like sticking sooted cookware back in my backpack. So anyway, got two huge sheets of this. Looks like they're about 2 foot by 1 foot each. Stainless screen, but you can always use that stuff. You can always use that stuff in other places. Keeps the birds and the rodents out of things. So what I will do is I will put in a video here real quick with this thing burning. I tend to use boat alcohol, stove alcohol in my stoves. Burns a little bit cleaner and less fumes. Apparently formulated to be less fumes, but for the biggest reason is I have a bunch of it from my boat, so I like to use that. You can also use the yellow bottles of heat, gas line dryer. Anyway, so that's what I'll use in it. I'll use some of this boat alcohol stove, just kind of a stove alcohol. Anyway, I'll get back to you with a demonstration of how the stove works out of the box. Okay, here is the Trangia stove, and it comes with the snuffer cap, and you can also adjust your flame with this. You unscrew the lid to the stove, and let's see if I can get the light in there. And that's the way the stove is set up. And you can see it's got the little holes drilled around the edge. And the distance between this inner wall and this outer wall on a finely tuned stove will evaporate the fuel up through this outer wall and out through these little jets, and it should shut this center part off from burning. However, without anything in there, the videos I've seen, the inner part continues to burn even when it does bloom. And like I said, when it does burn, it creates a really tall yellow flame that soots everything up. So I will add some fuel to this. I just wanted to show a few of the other items that I've purchased. I think, well, this cup I have used in the past. I have a couple little espresso makers. I've got a real small one for just myself, and I've got a larger size espresso maker, backpacking espresso maker, if I go somewhere with my girlfriend or a friend. I need to make more than 1 cup of espresso. So anyway, I used to have this for that device that makes the espresso, and it shoots your shot up through a loop. I'll do a video on the espresso makers here soon. Anyway, that's a cup that I've had for quite a while, and one of the reasons I got it is because when I make my espressos, I put the espresso shots in with some honey in a cup, and I stir that up, and then I add half and half or milk to the espresso shots to make a latte. And since I don't have the ability to do a steamer, what I got this for was to add the shots and the honey, stir that up, and then add my milk to it. And then I can set this on top of the alcohol burner. I did get these here. This is one of the stands, titanium stand that goes with it. And it comes apart kind of like that. But anyway, you put that together, assemble it, and it sits on there as a little stand for the stove. We'll see how that works later on. Anyway, this little device here I have is a coffee grinder for my backpacking. I could grind my beans here before I go out, but on longer trips I'll need something like this if I just want to haul the beans. You unscrew this and the handle comes off for easy storage. And I kind of like this one from all the ones that I've seen because it screws onto a smallmouth ball canning jar. And I've got one that I got from a friend that's a tiny little jam jar. So that'll work great with this. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. What I'm going to do is dump some fuel in this stove. I don't think I need a lot to see if it's going to give me the kind of flame I'm looking for. That should do it just a little bit, I think. We'll see. I may have to start over and add more fuel later on. Let me get a lighter here. Oh, there you are. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off when I light this, so it'll make it a little easier to see the flame. And I think I will turn off this light. See if that makes it any better. And I do have a headlamp on, so. Okay, it is burning. And I will turn the other light off here. My headlamp should give us enough. There we go. You can see the center part is burning now. And I'm going to move this camera up just a tad. It looks like we've come to a bloom. You know, I may not have to modify this stove. Well, now see, the bloom is happening, but we still have this big yellow flame coming up out of the center, and that's what soots up your cookware. See if we can get that to stop here before it burns out all the fuel that I put in. It doesn't look like it is, you know, and that's really my only complaint with this thing, is that the flames from the bloom around the outer edge are igniting some of the alcohol that's in the center compartment. And I think when I fill this up full of carbon fiber and put that screen over it, it'll keep a lot of that alcohol from coming up in the center of the stove and help it to go around through the outer walls and come out through just the blooms alone. So yeah, it looks like the hotter this thing gets, the bigger the yellow flame gets, and that's what I'm trying to eliminate on this stove. So we'll let this fuel burn out. This would be a good break-in period for the stove anyway. I'll go ahead and fast forward this until we get to the end of the fuel. Alright, looks like it's going to take this thing a long time to burn through that fuel, so I will put the snuffer cap on there. And we'll let her cool down. And go ahead and start the video for the modification of it. We'll see if it works any better after doing all that. Anyway, I'll be right back after this thing cools off some. Okay, here we are. Got my felt, I've got my stainless steel screen, some scissors to cut the felt. I may have to end up using a razor knife. I haven't tried it yet. I've got a ruler so I can measure about how thick I need to cut the felt, a Sharpie, and some tin snips to cut the stainless screen. I'm going to use the Sharpie to mark it, circle in it, and trim it with the tin snips, and then stuff that down on top of the carbon felt. So that you need to have your carbon felt down inside here a little ways, so that the flames from the inside get a chance to heat this area in between the two walls, the inner wall and the outer wall. So if you have it down a little ways, the flames get an opportunity to heat up this top section of the lip, which will help vaporize the alcohol in the stove, I'm hoping. So I'm going to do some measuring and calculating and see what we need here. So it looks to me like looks like we've got about 1.6 inches total depth, and I am almost thinking that I want to go about I think I'm going to go about 1 inch, maybe 1.1 inches with the carbon fiber, and 1.1 inches. That'll leave me about 1/2 inch of free space to heat up the venturis, the jets in the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out. Let's see how big of a, I want to see how big of a circle I get, circumference or diameter I get by rolling this up on the short end. I may have to roll it up on the long end to fill this entire cavity. See what I'm talking about here? This is the short end. I think that might do it. Yeah, I think we'll I think we'll trim along the short end here. I'll take this one here. It looks a little straighter. And let's see, 1.1 inches. It's going to be right about there. I guess there's no way to mark it on this stuff, so I'm just going to have to eyeball it and hope I'm doing good. Double check here real quick. Yeah, that's a little more than 1.1. So I'm going to go right about there. Sure don't want to mess up on this. A little bit crooked, but it'll all come out in the wash. So I think This is a little bit wider on one end than the other. I should have done it with a long straight edge and a razor knife, but it is what it is. I think I'm going to start with the big end in the center of this roll and gradually sloping down towards the outside edges. And we'll see, it'll look a little bit like a conical shape. We'll see how that looks in there. And I may have to trim some more of this to get it in, or to fill the hole. That's pretty close, actually. So I'm going to stuff that down in there and massage this around a little bit. Let's see here. I think I'm going to pull that out and not wind it quite so tight. If I can get it out of there now. Pliers to the rescue. Everyday carry. Really dig these Gerbers. Got these when I worked for the fire department because we had a requirement that you had to be able to operate these with one hand if you were in a situation that was tight quarters and you didn't have the use of both hands. And I really like the scissors on that. Maybe I'll do a review of that someday. It's lasted a long time. Okay, I enlarged these the windings a little bit on this, and I'll stuff that down in there, and that actually looks pretty good. So with that done, now we've got to measure this screen and put a layer of that on top of that. This at least I can mark, if my marker's still any good. Alright, I'm going to turn my headlamp. Oh boy. At least down low. Makes it a little easier to gauge. So I'm marking this so that I leave the black line and cut to the edge of it. Stuff's pretty stiff, so it's going to be real bendable. Alright, see if that's visible. Yeah, I can do that. And I'm not going to bore you with watching me trim this, but I'll come right back as soon as I get done with that. Okay, so here's the snips I used to trim this stainless screen. Just straight tin snips. Here's the screen that I cut out. And what I've noticed in here is inside the lip of this thing, the diameter is a little bit larger. So I think if I force this down in, oops, see if you can see the little lip inside the edge there. So I think if I force this down in, it should fit in there good. I don't expect it'll fall out very easy, so we'll see. So here we go. Let's see if we can get this down in there. Use a little bit of force over here. Boy, oh boy. Sorry for the huffing and puffing. Okay. bit deep on that side. See if I can get a hold of that somehow and pull it up. Let's see here. I'm gonna need a pick of some sort. I'll be right back. Okay. You know, sometimes I kick myself in the butt because Harbor Freight keeps sending me notices that I can get a free dental pick set, free gift, and I just have not gone down there and gotten it. So what I've done is fasten a little bit of a paper clip here, and we'll see if we can hook onto this other end. And I think I need to increase the width of my hook. Get a good hook on that. And the key will be to get it unhooked, I suppose, after I raise this side up. So what I'm going to do is, there we go, that worked pretty good. And I think a little bit, Lord, help me get that out of there. There we go. It looks pretty even. A little bit high on this side, but that's okay. I can push that down. I think I'm going to pull up a little bit here just to get it all nice and flat. Don't imagine it even matters, really. There we go. Didn't take much force to pull that up. That actually looks pretty darn good. A little bit high on that side, but I can live with that. Let's see what this looks like here. Well, I guess we're just about ready for a test burn on this rascal. So, take these. And they're that easy to open too. You just, one hand. So, handy little tools. Okay, so, get all this stuff out of the way here. And we'll relight this and hope for a change. Otherwise, I've made this video for nothing. And tools are away. Dump some fuel in here. I don't think it takes very much. And I did see one video where the guy said he needed to let it soak into that carbon felt a little bit. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come right back. I think I just heard the mailman stop by, so I'm going to check the mail and I'll come back and then we'll light this up. Okay, I've added some more fluid. See how that works. Even if it doesn't do a good blossom, I prefer this size of a flame for cooking with. My espresso machine notes that it needs to be cooked over low heat, not real high heat, so this would work really well for that. I make tea, I make espressos on the trail. Alright, looks like we're starting to bloom here. And I'm getting a little bit of yellow flame out of this side here. Hopefully that'll go away. this thing get up to temperature. Well, I'm still getting the same orange flame here. Let me try this simmer ring on there. I noticed that from a video from another user that said that when these things are new, the simmer ring turns the entire lid because of the rivet is kind of tight. So if you loosen it up a little bit, you can spin this simmer ring without spinning the lid that it sits on. But that's actually a nice blue flame there, you know. I can cook with that, and I think, let me get my pliers out because I haven't loosened that simmer flap up yet, so I'm going to use these pliers to hold it and see if I can make it a little larger. Yeah, you know, that that actually is going to be pretty good to cook with. When you put this simmer ring on top of there, it blocks off the little hole jets that are drilled around the edge. And let me pull it back off again here to see what we got. Yeah, that's still giving me a pretty good size yellow flame. I think really the bonus to this is that when I use the simmer ring, I can get it down to a nice low blue flame. I could probably have done that. I could have probably done that with the original stove. I don't know. I didn't test it with that. But anyway, this will work. And like I said, it has the added benefit of being able to screw this cap on here that has a rubber seal in it. So you can do that and keep this thing full of fuel and just pull it out and light it whenever I need it. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll let you know over time if this thing simmers down or if I do any other modifications to it. I sure like the way my little soda can stoves operate. Anyway, I'll roll a couple videos of those in the future and you can see how they compare. Thanks for watching.